Today we're going to talk about what to do when you are feeling manipulated by guilt and shame. The answer is simple. Just go with the flow of life, with the flow of peace. Do not let anything obscure your view of peace, including the guilt and shame you feel. What tends to happen in situations when you feel guilt and shame is that guilt and shame becomes a companionship to you. And suddenly you realize that the peace is stopped flowing in your experience. How to restore that peace within you. And that is what we're going to talk about today. And why it is so important for that peace to be restored. One of the reasons why peace is so important is because without it, you cannot see clearly. Without it, your vision and what you are perceiving is going to be through the filter of guilt and shame. You feel it all over you, and you then start thinking, everybody thinks of me as a guilty and shameful person. Especially if a narcissistic person made you feel that way. When you are in a relationship with a narcissistic person, do not be surprised if you are encountering experiences where even just for a short moment, this narcissist person pass you by and suddenly he or she makes you feel as if you are not enough, as if you should be feeling guilty about something, yet you have not done anything wrong, or make an attack against you to tell you that you are not enough as you are, simply for the purpose of make you feel insecure, and then they can manipulate you. Now, may this happen to you through a narcissistic or a person in general, or may this happen because you yourself feel that you have done something wrong, or just feel the guilt and shame and you don't know where it's coming from. The method is the same. Like I said from the beginning, you have to go back to the peaceful flow of life. The peace is coming from within you. Yes, it's coming from within you, despite that you feel that all within is this emotional guilt and shame which is taking hold of you. How to go to that peace? Despite that you are feeling the emotion being so powerful over you, take a moment, take a respite from that power constantly churning at you, and ask yourself, what would I do if I would have peace? What would you do if you do not have the guilt and shame clouding your judgment and forcing you to act a certain way? What would you do then? You would be at peace, wouldn't you? And then you would do what you would love to do, instead of being forced to do something you don't want to do. So in the time of guilt and shame, take a moment and act from the peace within. Act from what would you love to do when you feeling peaceful, when you feeling happy. Yes, recall an event or recreate a peaceful scenario within yourself, and from there generate enough peace and reminder of peace that you can act on this peaceful view. There is no use for you to act on guilt even if you have done something wrong. There is no use to act on shame even if you know things needs to be fixed up. Because whatever you will do and however to the measure you will do it will be manipulated by the guilt and shame you feel. It is much better to take a separation, a stand where you feel that there is a gap between you and the shame, you and the emotion you feel, so that you can regain this peaceful perspective which has been covered up by the shame and the guilt you're experiencing. Yes, regain the peace with it before you actually do anything. Even if the situation is happening so fast that you feel that you don't have the time to regain the peace, just take a split second and say, peace matters to me most of all. To make the right choice, to make the wisest choice, I need to have peace. And I want to make peace in this situation. And in order for me to create peace is if I perceive and act from peace. To sum up, I encourage you to first and most of all have a look at where is this guilt and shame coming from. Not to go into in the deep detail of it's coming from my childhood experience because I had such thing happen to me, or this person did this to me once and now this other person is reminding me of it. You don't have to go that far. All you have to do is to see what you are dealing with now. What is it that you have at hand now? What can you use now? So if in the moment you have a narcissistic person manipulating you and making you feel something which you full well know that you have not felt before this person got engaged with you, or is it something you just suddenly find yourself in, meaning you're feeling that this guilt and emotional cloud is suddenly taking you over, or you indeed done something wrong and you know that whatever had happened made you feel that you are guilty or it is a shameful act. In any case, you take a good overall view of what is happening to you. Put that aside for a second and have a look at how you would love to act out of peace and how you would love to do something out of peace and not out of guilt. Then proceed from there. And whatever you will do after this will be that it is coming from a place where you are not manipulated. Then you might find yourself that you will say no to the narcissist and walk away. Erect your healthy boundary and act as you would love to act without causing suffering. Same with the emotional cloud which has come over you. You look at the emotion and you see that it is not aligned with your understanding of yourself as an identity who is peace. Then you say to the emotion, I see you there. Show me the peace you're made of, because everything is made of peace. I know I am made of peace. I know everybody is essentially made out of peace. So must be the emotion is also made out of peace. And you wait for the emotion to show you the awareness, the peace around you. Yes, you will hear, yes, you will see activities, or you will see a wider perception of what's happening around you. But you will also see that suddenly this emotion or these emotions have lost their grip on you. Then act from that peaceful place. And if you did something wrong, you still go through this stage first, and then once you feel yourself peaceful, once you feel that this wider perspective where you are not only lost yourself in the guilt and your focus is not 100% magnified on the guilt or shame, when that is not happening anymore, but your focus have spread it in a wider perspective, then you gather as much as peace as you can before you make the next step, before you become creative with what you have. I hope this was helpful to you, and I wish you a wonderful day.